Would you now please join the coaches, players and umpires as we stand for the Australian National Anthem.
Boys, let's get stuck right into it. That man on screen, Paddy Ryder, a huge role to play, recruited to the club to assist Rowan Marshall. They've become quite the dynamic duo, and they bullied Tim English back in round 2, Derm.
They certainly did. Tim English has grown since then, but Louis, if we have a look at what their stats compared to the doggies' stats, which was basically just Tim English, he was out of his depth. Yeah, and I suppose from a Bulldogs point of view, what you are asking of English is just to compete. We'll get the ground level stuff, we'll do our research, we'll understand where his hit 2 zones are going to be, and we'll be there. We'll try and outnumber there, but the challenge for Ryder is to try and capitalise on those hit-outs and those hit-outs to advantage, and that's what he would have done after that game. He would have researched the game where the Bulldogs thought he was going to go, and he may tap to different types of areas tonight. Although it was a whitewash, the scores were really important there. They weren't blown away by scores from stoppage.
All right, so the all-important toss. We'll see here whether the captains follow Lynchy's advice, Derm.
Someone will play their one and only final today, and if that is the case, let it go down in history that you're a finals player and you did it well.
That man on screen, Marcus Bontempelli, was bullied in this game last year. He would have to have a steely resolve today, George. Yeah, he'll be well prepared. He's taken the captaincy over of this side this year, so he would want to lead from the front. We've seen stuff throughout the year that we haven't seen before in terms of his capabilities in the physical sense, and he's going to be such an important player. May get a run-with role in this game today, so he may have to play a different type of game, but he's one of their stars. Are you after the moment, or are you after just plying your craft, Louis? What are you thinking right now? Just plying your craft. I think if you chase the moment, you've got the wrong type of mindset coming into the game. I think. Go the moment, Louis! Yeah, I'm different to you, Derm. I'm more sort of level-headed as I approach the game, but that national anthem, Sarah, that got us up and about. That just wanted us to play again. Derm, the Bulldogs' best is certainly good enough. The question is, can they bring it today? Absolutely.
We can't split these teams. They're vastly different in their personnel makeup. They probably have more stars out there. I tend to think whoever plays hardest, most committed for longest, will probably scratch out this win. It's got very little to do with the mechanics of both teams.
Aaron Naughton there in the helmet, protecting the head and the cheekbone injury.
He'll be waiting for the sun to go down, Sarah, because you could imagine the heat that's within that helmet, having not worn one before in Aaron Naughton. That would be quite hot as the day unfolds. Well, what about Libby? You wouldn't put him in a helmet. He's a hothead as it is at the best of time. You want to keep him a little cool. There's another one, Zachy Jones. He's a bit of a hothead. Yeah, welcome inclusion. Just adds a little bit of depth, and you can see there just off screen already going at Bontempelli. So do they go after Bontempelli, as you asked the question before? It'll be interesting to see. Here we go. All right, let's head to the Gabba. Elimination final between St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs. The winner stays alive.
This is English and Ryder meet in the middle. Jones, little give to Steele. His first final. Offhand, still a chance for the Saints. King went without it. Daniel on to his left, sends it out towards Bruce in his first final. Carlisle's got support. Little one to Long. Quickly gives. Ross doesn't get flustered, happy to retreat. The shadow's getting longer, but it's a warm afternoon at the Gabba. Hunter Clark A couple of Saints should be able to work this out. Ball falls to Membry. Into the sun and into the eyes. Eastonwood reads it well.
Nice defensive mark and just a little feeling out process here at the start. McRae now happy to change direction. The Dogs are going to work their way through this to Bontempelli. Now Rourke Smith.
Already seeing early, Das, both sides, once they get possession, they want to create some width in attack. So they want all their midfielders, those half forwards, half backs, to get really wide on this gabba and stretch out the opposition.
Josh Bruce from the side. There's Norton with the helmet on for the first time. Hunter Clark. And he's just got on top of that. How's the umpire going to call it? No prior opportunity, Joe.
We just have a look here at this first centre bounce, and Paddy Ryder just being able to get over the top and hit forward in front, which is a great entry for a St Kilda out of the first centre bounce.
Ryder again, first hands on it. Liberatore read it well. Rourke Smith quickly. Bontempelli inside to a dangerous spot. Wallace, Bruce played on, advantage taken. Dogs get the first. Well, Josh Bruce has had a big week. Perfectly timed second child, first final. Gets his first goal and gets the Dogs off to a flyer.
Well, the stoppage goal is so important, and this is what you can't fall in the trap of when the opposition, when you have a good ruckman. You don't want to all get caught goal-keeping on one side. The Saints had 3 of their mids just all in almost a row, and the Dogs were able to hit back, work back, and get that deep entry in, and Bruce butted up and finished well on the right foot, but you still got to have that balance around the contest. Take your direct match-up when you're in your back half, and then at least force the opposition to do something. Will not come out as easy as Bontempelli did then.
99 games for St Kilda. That man on screen, Josh Bruce, that's his first goal against the Saints. It'll be a nice moment for him. Let's have a look at Ryder. Such a capable centre bounce ruckman. He got over the top. McRae got crunched. Oh, he got smashed by Long, who got suspended earlier in the year. McRae got back up, and he seems to be okay. Liberatore, that was a big knock. Norton out the back, Rourke Smith. He's got Bailey Smith out the wide, and he chooses to use that. Long comes into corral. The young gun Bailey Smith goes back to Bailey Williams, and now English has drifted forward, so he's got a chance. Went with the one hand in the end, and coming through just a little overzealous. That is a free kick to Jack Loney, but interesting to get back to the centre bounce. Joe and Jimmy, what did you make of that?
It looked like it was a clean shot and looked high as well, so it'll be interesting to see what the vision shows us, but did well to get back up, McRae.
So Loney to Wilkie, a couple of the Saints, there's 14 of them playing their first final. Big pack forms, wonderful hands from King. Nice confidence builder. Measured ball down the line. Again, difficult for those players leading to the right of screen. Outside of the left boot. Williams, right spot, went back with a flight. Always his ball.
And that's what St Kilda are going to have to work on there. The Bulldogs' defensive running patterns are so good. As you see there, Williams, he started on the other wing, worked all the way back to get that intercept mark.
So Cordy, one of the 9 premiership Dogs. Here's the Norm Smith medalist from that 2016 grand final. Bouncing ball for Wood. Just gets the better of him. Carlo knocks it forward with his knee. Hunter Clark just overrides it, runs past. Wood goes back and gets it. Hunter to Bailey Smith towards goals. It is offline, in fact, hits the post.
Such an important complementary player to this midfield. We just have a look there, just high from Long.
He's very lucky McRae got back up. Or else that's MRP otherwise.
You think you'll be okay, Jimmy, going forward? Out of 3-week suspension early into the year for a hit on Sean Darcy.
Well, impact is one of the sort of boxes that need to be ticked, and the fact that McRae got back up and kept playing, and we can still see him on the field here, just about 10 metres off Lockie Hunter here, helps.
Good result. This is Caleb Daniel, first time All-Australian, and his kicking skills are unique. Either side of the body is capable. Short one was onto Joe Hannison, and you can see There's a lot of Saints numbers back, as you'd expect. So to the pocket, English and Carlisle able to take care of that one pretty comfortably. Let's get down to Abby Holmes.
Yeah, you just saw Caleb Daniel with his first touch, but Jaron Geary is playing a defensive forward role on him. We've seen him play that role throughout the season, but he's just going to try and keep him occupied and just nullify his impact.
Marshall, nice little tap in the direction of Billings. Again, Liberatore coming through to Bontempelli, to Rourke Smith. Misses the lot.
Yes, and as you said, Jimmy, it looked like he tried to pull out initially, but he sort of overcommitted. He hesitated just before, so I think that's what might turn in his favour when they have a look at that.
Thanks, Hodgie. Dougal Howard sends that one down the line, and Gardner, here's Bradley Hill. You know his running capacity. Look at him go, and they string forward now. Kent nearly got run down from behind. Good one-on-one chance coming up, and Geary's got rid of the little man. Handed it off to Memory, and the Saints kick their first of the final. So that was the matchup that we spoke about. And when you're a defensive forward and you set up a goal, that is a real bonus. Membry kicks the Saints first, and that was a one-on-one matchup the Dogs didn't want, Joe.
Yeah, and he's been able to kick goals as playing as a defensive forward. We saw early in the year he went to Sam Doherty against Carlton and was able to hit the scoreboard, and it's crucial not just being a negating role but actually be effective as a forward.
We've seen earlier the Saints willing to take that contest on centre wing with their big targets, and they've hit it with absolute speed and willing to go quick from after that initial contest. But Joe, you touched on this. Geary, when he does play as a defensive forward, he still makes the opposition's defender defend, which is a key. You still got to be dangerous. You know, good defenders, they see if you get out of play and you're trying to have bad leading patterns, they'll ignore you. So it's good that he got there deep, but that comes off the back of that contest wing up on the wing, where they get a lot of numbers front and square and go with speed.
Membry filled with emotion. Geary, just the fourth contested mark of the year. Nice time to take one. Give was good and bounce not so.
Sorry, boys. Thanks, Ed. Keep going. Well, good.
So Marshall steps into the circles. Hanbury, they combine brilliantly again. At half forward, King maybe just had a little problem with the sun. McRae took that heavy hit earlier. English, slick hands. Daniel contemplates where to next. A little bounce took too long.
Pushing the back.
Butler runs him
Western
down,
Bulldogs.
but got in his back.
Caleb Daniel, straight to him now, Dan. Thank you. Move it on. Play on. Play on.
Again, Daniel not rushed. Well done in the end. So Billings to Jones, who played against the Dogs as a Swan in the grand final. Little give, ends up with Sinclair. Again, a floaty sort of a ball towards half forward. No good for Geary. Ball just slapped back towards Butler. Quick kick, Dunkley tried to put the tackle on, but it goes out the front. And a chance for Loney to get the Saints second.
They've just been able to get the ball moving forward quickly, haven't they? They looked a bit sharper on the burst than what the Western Bulldogs had, and they're just that Butler a few efforts just to keep the ball going with forward momentum, and then another shot on goal for Loney.
The transition for Geary, as soon as he saw the Saints win the footy, he's trying to get Caleb Daniel as deep as possible, get him onto the last line and get that lethal kicking as far away from the Dogs forward 50.
Jack Loney, 6-2 from set shots this year.
All locked away, early stages of this elimination final. The Tigers await the winner. They've already chosen Metricon Stadium as their ground for the final. Here is Caleb Daniel, who's been involved in plenty of early play. That's his fourth disposal. And Ryan Gardner, not much on offer apart from the long bomb down the line. Through a couple of hands. Wilkie ended up with Carlisle. Patton eventually got it to Hanbury. Just chips a little floating ball inside forward 50. And a good effort back there. Taylor Duray, former premiership Hawk, teammate Luke Hodge. A couple of premierships. Played it pretty well.
Hunter takes a bounce. Billing does the chasing, and Billings couldn't quite get there. Well done, Wilkie's been doing this since day one as a Saint.
Hold there.
Been a remarkable pickup. Callum Wilkie hasn't missed a game this year or last. Little kick, not so good. Splits a few players. Picked up by Crozier. Now McRae. Now Bailey Smith. Low ball. Tricky enough for Caulfield. He's taken it clean. He's got to try and get rid of it, you'd think.
Got to hit the ground.
Been a very different style of game to last night. Only 4 tackles laid in the first quarter so far, and the ball has been moving around a lot more by hand and foot. Cleaner possession from both sides.
9. Thank you.
You can see the clear styles between the two teams. Doggies are trying to pierce their way through with a composed position, with a kick mark. St Kilda all on the turnover. They want to get the turnover out and then go fast as they can up forward.
Jones, the only change for these two sides. Finds Carlisle. Bontempelli, Caulfield, boundary line, wins the day.
Sorry. Coming from 50.
Warm conditions for this elimination final.
I think Bont was asking the bench, how long have I been on? Do I need to change? And
he got the answer that you're off. On comes Liberatore. Oh, look at Ryder. He's got such beautiful hands in the ruck. The Bulldogs have found a way to win it back. McRae, brilliant follow-up work from Ryder, but Bailey Smith on the outside of the boot. What could launch at it, and free kick out of bounds is going to be. So the reset just on the edge of forward 50. Tim English has done the power of work. That's going to be one of the challenges, Jim, isn't it? He gets Rowan Marshall and then he gets Paddy Ryder. He's got a huge afternoon coming up.
Well, it's important the second ruck for the Dogs doesn't get completely beaten. Just needs to make a contest, neutralise as much as possible.
Ryder again. Superior in the air. Liberatore, though, for the Dogs. Back to Bailey Smith. It's a long ball. It's going to fall just a little short. In fact, doesn't fall short, just sails out of bounds on the full.
And it's important for the Saints ruckman to identify that. We've already seen early they've gone to the same hit zone, even when English and then Dunkley comes into the ruck. You've got to mix it up a little bit because you become predictable to the opposition.
Dougal Howard, one of these Saints who's switched clubs and had such an impact. Billings likes what he sees. Down the line to Hanbury, who didn't have to break stride, but Hunter was closing in. Got support from Jack Steele. Happy just to take a little heat off the kick, put it to a dangerous spot. Membry's got one. Geary set him up this time. Geary's got a problem in Daniel. Tries to get rid of the ball, dragged it in.
Western Bulldogs, incorrect disposal. Thank you. Come back on, move out.
Just lost control of the footy, and now Daniel thinks about where to next.
It'll be an interesting matchup to follow that one. Jaron Geary with the forward tagging roll. Now, that's a rare mistake from Caleb Daniel. Didn't see Carlisle, I reckon, and just set it up perfectly in the end for the Saint defender. So like he's thinking about just the high lob to the goal square. Good luck marking that one. They come from everywhere. Once again, Caleb Daniel back there with some poise. Gets it to Hunter. And now Bailey Smith's been prolific. Still working their way out of defence here, the Dogs. Long bomb down the line from Hunter.
Long back spot, gets a bit of help. Norton forced the contest. Wilkie picked it up neatly. Waiting for a little crumb. Daniel read it really well. Quickly into Lockie Hunter's hands. Again, a high ball down the line. Dougal Howard front spot. Long again. Saw it come in his direction. Handball too hot for Hunter Clark. Picked up by Bailey Smith. Having a good first term. Feeds the ball wide to Crozier. Richard steps back inside. Left ball towards half forward. Dunkley back with a flight. Little give. Thought about it to Norton. And then quickly the kick. Norton, he's got a problem. They took too long. Norton went without the ball. Sinclair, the rebound. It's on for the Saints. Clark just got himself out of trouble. Then a nice little left to Geary.
Saint skipper, ball in hand. He's got it at half back, and one of their gun recruits, Zach Jones, who's had an enormously positive impact on the St Kilda Footy Club. His first year, that one just said a little bit of work for Patton, but he was up to it. Ran into Zane Cordy, Hunter Clark. They've just made life a little bit difficult for themselves here, the Saints, but good enough to get it to Caulfield.
Dogs have transitioned really well. They've got a lot of numbers back to half back, and so this is why the Saints are just trying to knock it around before they can get all their players up into position. So you can be really aggressive as a Saints midfielder and push in, because Hunter and these sort of guys are going to get back to the back 50 anyway to win possession.
Dan Butler, been their leading goal kicker for the year, that little man, and he's unfortunately out of bounds on the full, so Rourke Smith to take it back for the Bulldogs.
So Rourke Smith, been around the Dogs for a long time, gets his first opportunity in a final. Little desperate lunge from Bruce, couldn't get there. Wilkie. Players charged at him. Hill went straight at the football and Bontempelli was waiting.
Yeah, Das, as a ruckman, you're coming up against the midfielder in Dunkley, as we see Ryder's been doing. Why would they be hitting it to ground? Wouldn't you be just trying to surge it forward, take some ground off him?
It's a very good question you raise, Hodgie. And you have a look at it now, and he's still just going, I suppose, it'd be good enough to do that, but saw the Brisbane Lions ruck division. That's all they did for 3 premierships in a row, Hodgie. So sometimes an underutilised tactic, that one. It's going to be fascinating, is it, today? Josh Dunkley against Ryder and Rowan Marshall. How that unfolds, Joe, will be very interesting. Long ball down the line. Bruce gave a good contest. Here is the man who's playing the ruck, Josh Dunkley, and he's found a way to get it to Johannesson. I suppose that's the advantage you get. You get an extra midfielder when it gets to ground level.
That's right, and the ball's been flying around when you see here just the ability of Bruce to come in and spoil and get the ground ball, and then Dunkley to be able to hit the target. Both teams want to move the ball on really quickly, and it's been evident so far. The ball's flying around, and they might need to take a breather towards the back ends of quarters as they start to fatigue.
This man's the only rookie-listed player to have won a Norm Smith medal. He did it in 2016. He's yet to kick a goal in a final, and he has now, Jason Johannesson. Big moment for that man. Looks to be playing more forward, I think, Jimmy, so far in the game. They seem to have pushed his speed and that asset forward of the ball.
They did it a couple of weeks ago when they played at the Adelaide Oval and played the Hawks. They played him across half forward and wing, just something different to be that player, to capitalise on that inside work of McRae and Bontempelli. When they win the footy and they get their arms up really high, he's that release player, and he's such a good kick inside forward 50 with that penetration, and we know today's game is about territory.
We just see here Bruce's ability just to get a hand in there to provide the contest and bring it to ground, and then Dunkley lowers the eyes and hits the target, and Johansson just is on the phone asking who's there.
Saints defenders, when the players are 30 metres away, you have to close that gap. You can't zone off by 20 metres. As the play gets closer, you've got to come closer to your direct opponent.
5 behinds for Johannesson in his 5 finals coming to this, his first major, and Dunkley sends it forward again for the Dogs. Richards tried to slap it towards Lipinski. Well done, Sinclair. Took on all comers. Hunter Clark worked the ball into Saints' hands, and Hill's got a bit of speed. Rourke Smith might be a little worried he might try and take him on. Just hems himself in. Perfect kick onto the chest of Marshall. Benefit so much from Paddy Ryder arriving, and then towards King. Just gets himself into a great spot. Step between 3 Dogs. Never took his eye off the footy. Great awareness, and he can kick the Saints back on level terms.
Just have a look at this. Into the sun, he's surrounded by Bulldogs players. He just keeps his eyes on the ball, and just a slight shift to get around Easton Wood. A fantastic contested mark.
Easy as that. King's got the Saints back on level terms. Fabulous awareness, Jimmy, from King. As Job said, dealing with 3 Bulldogs, a ball coming in high, and the sun also an opponent. Couldn't have managed it any better.
We just see here Ben Long twice off the back of the square. That's the first one, and then here's the second just coming in. Finals football intensity.
As you said, finals football intensity, but the defence end there for the Bulldogs, they had 3 blokes down there. Surely the communication is some person take King, put a body on him so a teammate can fly over the top. There's no doubt they'll look at that at quarter time and have to improve on that, because you can't let someone with King's ability to get a clean run and jump at the ball.
What a great sign that is for the Saints to see Max King taking big contested marks in a final. The famous number 12, Nick Rewalt, St.Kilda champion. Or for so many years. Makes you smile, Saints fans. No free kick. Ryder thought it was holding on. Now they've worked it back. Zach Jones, still a ball to run. Hanbury slick handball, and eventually the Dogs have turned it over. So a win for them. Shank kick from Dunkley. Crozier has drawn the free kick against Patton. Just a little too high around the shoulder. What'd you make of that one, Jimmy?
Yeah, that arm there, just as it come over, the initial spoil was okay, then just hung over the top. But what we're seeing, both sides are trying to get that extra number into the contest. We've seen Long obviously come blasting off the back of the square. Richards just did then for the Dogs. It's both sides trying to get enough outnumber around the contest.
His third season at the Bulldogs. Hayden Crozier spent 6 years as a Fremantle Docker, mainly played in defence. What's his goal kicking like? Pretty well struck. Crozier has delivered. Kicked that beautifully, sweetly timed, and a big smile on the face of Hayden Crozier. Dogs back out to 6 points.
We just see here the Bulldogs just forcing St Kilda to go backwards, which gives more and more time for their forwards to come up and get involved. And then Richards just a slight touch there, follow up, Dunkley forward 50 entry, and they put the St Kilda under pressure. And that's what final football is about, Jimmy, that they're forcing St Kilda to go backwards, and that connection with their forward line to then come in and be influential defensively.
Just third goal in a final, couple of finals as a Docker.
Yeah.
Played with the Dogs last year in the elimination final. Just second goal for the year. The other against the Cats. Couldn't have kicked it any better. Marshall against English. You'd think for many, many years to come. Hanbury on the end of it, just works it around the corner. Big fly from Billings. Hill missed it the first time, went back and got it. He was under pressure, just slapped it forward. Hanbury, Bontempelli's got him. Jones going nowhere. Rourke Smith saddles up.
So already early, you can see if you're going to play the second ruck, Dunkley, and you've got Marshall in the ruck, you look where the Saints are trying to get most of the pie. That's where he tries to hit all the time, Marshall.
Used his muscle, then his left foot headed towards Membry. Butler, pretty clever in these scenarios. Little give to space. Slap, well, Loney thought about just knocking it towards Billings or Membry. Didn't quite execute it as he would have liked. Daniel to Liberatore under pressure. Quickly from Gardner, high up and under. Marshall works himself into the right spot. Had a bit of it. Left it behind. Bruce misses the target.
So at this boundary throw-in, if Marshall was coming up against Bruce here, you'd be looking where the Saints are trying to outnumber. They don't actually move a lot once they get their set position. So it's identified for Marshall where he needs to hit the footy. So they got the numbers back here with Steele and Hill on this side.
One down initially by Marshall. Bontempelli in the right spot. Under a minute to go. Jones sends them forward, the Saints. Johannesson now back. Hanbury put some pressure on. Eastonwood looked up. There wasn't a lot forward that he liked, but they worked it out pretty well. Back to the champ, Bontempelli. Now Liberatore. Can it get to Johannesson? If it does, that's going to be dangerous. Loney's got a big ball to win here. He won it initially. Carlisle, the numbers are with the Dogs. They surge it forward. Johannesson, under 30 seconds remaining still. And again, Carlisle slapped it forward. So a big win. Look at the athleticism of Max King. And here come the Saints.
Here comes Hill with speed. Takes all the Dogs on. Keith, desperate. Put enough pressure on. Membry took on a couple of Dogs. Works the ball towards full forward. 9 seconds to play. And Geary might have the last kick of the term.
Thanks, stand out. Thank you.
Beveridge disappointed.
Straight up, Caleb, not
Jaron Geary, the skipper, 13th season. Just his second final.
Up, not over. Yep. Bailey, one on the mark.
15th game against the Dogs. He's never kicked a goal against them. It doesn't change. Big first term. The Dogs, the two leading goal scorers, Norton and Wallace, didn't touch the footy, but they lead 3-1-19. 22-14. Dogs by 5 at quarter time.
So very evenly matched. Bulldogs are on top, out tackling St Kilda in this first quarter. It'll be interesting to see what happens this second.
It's an elimination final. Saints looking for their first final win in 10 years. And the Bulldogs desperate to continue and take on the Tigers. In a week's time, Ryder, look at him slap it forward. Coming through and clashing heads there with Liberatore and Caleb Daniel. Now a chance for Billings. Amber was just slightly smothered and allowed the little man Daniel to get back in and hold it up at centre half forward for the Saints. So Jimmy, Job and Hodge have been talking about the stoppages a lot. This time it's English who managed to get boot to ball. Norton came at it. He's so good at just launching and finding a way to the ball. To Hunter. Now Lipinski gets it moving. Had a target. He liked the one-on-one. It was Crozier and Wilkie. No free kick doing there, Joe.
Well, just to have Norton back in the side, and he's going to run and jump and attack the game. He's willing to be the playmaker, and that's what they've missed. And I think he's just so important to their structure as well.
Josh Bruce puts his hand up, signals to the umpire that he'll be doing the ruck work against Ryder. Bontempelli. Hunter McRae. Norton does some wrestling. Carlisle appreciates the work of Dougal Howard, and Carlisle just works the ball over the top. Caulfield made to do probably more than he would have liked. Handball comes unstuck. Richards got a paw on it, then Rock Smith to full forward. Plenty of Saints there again. Howard in front of Bruce.
What a pick up this man from Port Adelaide, Dougal Howard, has proven to be. He's just a really consistent defender for the Saints. Now this is Sinclair.
You just see this willingness of St Kilda to keep the movement of the ball by foot. They just want the ball in movement all the time.
Marshall has to dump it down the line eventually. Max King, he's shown some good signs. Fantastic to see. He's the future of the Saints right there. Good chance for Membry. Had a good play on the ball. Duray gets back. Rock Smith now can steady for the Bulldogs, and they've got a bit of space here with Dunkley.
It's what the Bulldogs wingers do really well. They get so deep in defence and be that release option, almost to release the pressure from out of back 50.
Bounce was kind for Caleb Daniel. Beautiful kick to Hunter. Marshall holds him up. Daniel continues to run, sees a man on the outer side. Here's a chance. Gardner gets to 50, steps inside, gets around Billings. Awkward sort of a ball. Bruce didn't take it cleanly, slapped it towards Lipinski, over the top to Norton. Howard doubles back, still the pressure comes. Hanbury wants Sinclair. Sinclair's under pressure. Little handball, finds Ross. Ross, quick give to Howard. Howard wants to get it out of there. Caulfield leaves it behind. Steele's got a friend. Quickly to Patton, now to Hill.
Did well the Saints there to work their way through some serious heat from the Dogs, and now Membry presents up. You can see to the right of your screen, the Dogs pretty well placed behind the ball, so Membry is going to have to show a little bit of poise here. Back to Jake Carlisle. Patient build up now.
See this a lot from sides. They're willing to be slow and safe almost once they get to the centre of the ground, where then they're willing to take the contest on or go a bit quicker. So probably a little bit too deep to attack, so just keep knocking it around. You make the Dogs spend a lot of energy defending, running up and manning the mark.
So they've got a fair bit of possession, as Jimmy Bartell's pointing out, without any meterage gain. And
the best way to play defence is play less defence, isn't it, Jimmy? And you're not playing defence if you've got the ball in hand. So you see the Saints here keeping possession.
Sinclair has time. Now to Wilkie. Turns it over into hands of a man who's intercepted once or twice for the Dogs. English screaming for the ball. Shorter ball on offer to McRae. Hodgie, just quickly, does the sun now this late in the afternoon cease to be a factor?
No, mate. I reckon the last 5 or 6 minutes, it's just lifted it up above. So the forwards shouldn't have any issues now. We're going inside forward 50.
Okay, to Hunter. Duray into trouble, out of trouble. The sun maybe just disappearing behind the stands. Caulfield looks about, doesn't get flustered. Now he's got to be quick. Patton. Rourke Smith was onto him, got rid of the football, just straight up the chimney, knocked away by Howard in the end. knew what he had to do and just got desperate.
And both sides are willing to keep their backs intact, so their back 6 or the 5 that they keep in their back 50, because we're seeing enough pressure through the midfield. The long kick comes in and there's always an outnumber.
Forward pressure from the Bulldogs, trapping it in their forward half. Here's Marshall in English. Big, strong unit, Rowan Marshall, and underrated tactic that at times, isn't it? Just grabbing yourself and gain 50 metres. Well played, Ryder. Here's Butler. Loves this scenario. Releasing handball. Hanbury had to go back, but as free man, and they worked it beautifully all the way from that Rowan Marshall grab Jobe, and it set up this opportunity.
It did, Darcy. You could see before that they were defending for their life, and then Marshall just able to get the ball on the boot. Paddy gives a good contest, and Butler's looked really dangerous running back towards goal, and they've just opened up the Bulldogs here. 3 players running back to goal and stretching the ground.
Yeah, and it's that speed, isn't it, Jobe? And we mentioned with the backs being intact, if you play with speed, you saw them all just retreating and just trying to find a St Kilda forward.
Requested a trade from the Sydney Swans in 2014, wanted more opportunity. He's been the leading goal kicker for St Kilda 3 of the past 4 years. Tim Membry, golden opportunity, and he's dragged it across the face of goal.
This is always a hard one. It's a beautiful kick here from Hanbury. That's why they got him to the side, just for his touch and skill. But as you say, their Memory turns his back on the play, and I think they had Billings in the pocket all by himself.
English, beaten for strength by Marshall, just held his ground. Into the pocket. Again, it's King, who looks pretty dangerous, had a fair piece of it, and he's disappointed with himself.
So impressive for a young player. His craft before the ball arrives in his area, just able to get his body in the right position and get his defender off balance, and just looks so dangerous every time he's near the ball. That's a free kick.
St Kilda free kick. Advantage.
Advantage is taken. Loney kicks the goal. Saints get themselves in front.
You nominated. Yeah. I'll come in.
Well, Keith was setting himself out. Bontempelli, I think, just got overzealous and wanted to help out and lost his way a little.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure who nominated for the ruck, but I think Keith stuck with his matchup with Max King there. So I don't know whether he put his hand up or the Bont didn't hear that Keith had put his hand up to be in the ruck. So hopefully we can pick it up on the replay. Who for the Dogs said they were rucking? So Max King is nominated as the ruck here, and Keith, Bont has put his hand up, and Keith, they didn't see each other. Bont turned his back and didn't realise who was going up in the ruck, so just a communication breakdown there for the Dogs, and just a free kick.
I have to admit, it's still the rule I like the least in our game. You've got to actually tell people you're going for the ball. Jimmy, I understand why it was brought in.
Why? Just, I still don't understand. Why can't we just see there's one from each side? That's all you need to know. As soon as you see the next one, it's a free kick.
The idea in the combat sport of AFL, you still have to tell the umpire if you're going to attack the ball, but it resulted in a goal for the Saints. An important one for them. Here's Liberatore. Was he taken off it?
Holding the man.
The umpire has seen it that way, and a free kick.
Bulldogs.
It just finally it adds complexity to a rule that doesn't need to be complex. You just see one from each go up, or if no one goes up, but you can only have one go up in the ruck.
Saints in front in a final for the first time since 2011. Huge afternoon for Saints fans and for fans of the red, white and blue. Here's Taylor Duray looking for Crozier. Dougal Howard was good defensively. Mitch Wallace working hard, and that was a brilliant epic Crozier came from nowhere.
Thanks, fellas.
Flashed into the screen and nailed it.
We just see here just a great chase, defensive pressure to create another opportunity on goal, and he gets rewarded. Not often do you do the defensive pressure and you're the one that gets the reward, but here Crozier just fantastic, and the Bulldogs' ability to out-tackle St Kilda. 5 in this inside 50 alone, 22 for the match. That physicality for the Bulldogs has been really evident so far in the game.
Struck a really nice ball to kick a goal in the first quarter, Hayden Crozier. That's a good-looking effort. Might just fade, and it does. Through for a minor score.
It's been pretty noticeable down here that whenever the Doggies have got the ball inside their forward 50 and St Kilda have picked it up, they've had multiple people going at them. So it hasn't just been the one attacker, it's been 3 or 4 blokes at a time go at them.
Cordy in the end just worked Marshall out of the way. English heads in the direction of Wallace, who's to date had a very quiet afternoon. He and Keith yet to take control of the football. That's about to change.
What do you think, Jimmy? Jeez. Good free kick if you're a Dogs fan.
He's pretty stiff there, Dougal Howard.
I think so too.
15 gone.
Hasn't missed a game this year. 24 goals, 150 games in his career, 100 goals even. This to get the Dogs back in front. Umpire shuffles just a little. Mitch Wallace, take a bow. Completely rejuvenated as a forward. In and out of the side, a little battle with injuries. And in a pre-season game this year, a practice match, they said just go down forward for a little bit, and after the match they said, why don't you stay there for a while? Suits him well. Dogs in front by 5. Second lead change for the afternoon.
We just have a look here, and I think it was not really there, the free kick, and it's been costly. I mean, the Western Bulldogs have kicked 3 goals already from free kicks. St Kilda have kicked 1. But to Mitch Wallace's credit, the ability to execute from that tight boundary is a fantastic shot on goal.
Played his 150th game last week, Mitch Wallace, and well documented. He broke his leg badly in the 2016 year and missed that grand final. And with a shoulder issue in the last round, there was always a concern, but that is a big moment. They are Bulldog royalty, the Wallace family. We'll be watching with great interest that moment. Here is McRae sending the Dogs into attack. Caulfield at a moment, he'd like to get back. It was a difficult one to take. Hunter Clark over the top. Mitch Wallace back in now by letting it go. Now Rourke Smith emerges with it. Chance coming up. The skipper Bontempelli. He's absolutely shaked it. And Carlisle's fallen over. It's a comedy at the moment until Dougal Howard got back and saved the day for the Saints.
Just used the post for a little bit of balance and then just rebound. Jones, Daniels got him, handball. Knew that he had support. Kent, Bontempelli does the chasing and the lunging. Kent continues on with the football. Then under enormous pressure sends it into the second row.
Alex, Dean Kent. Alex, Dean Kent.
Paid pushing the back, I think, after the tackle.
Well, back it comes.
So Dean Kent launches a long one. Max King's been really dangerous, having to go to work on him with the extra number back there as Josh Dunkley floats one in the Bontempelli direction, and captain just presses pause here for a moment. Prepared to change direction, flick it out wide. Alex Keith being a really important inclusion into this side for the Dogs, and that was a well-placed ball for Ed Richards. Taylor Giray now crafts a little kick to Rourke Smith, just having to think his way through it. Into the hands of McRae. Only played at 40 possessions in a game this year, Jack McRae. All-Australian for the second time. Johannesson back to Bontempelli. Now Bruce. Ryder went at it hard. Well played, Paddy Ryder defensively. Flick out over the top. Josh Bruce gets another play on it. Well tackled Ryder. Did a good job. Hunter Clark. Howard still having to get through, and the kick just found its way to Sinclair, and the Saints get out.
Howard had that sort of look about him. Don't give it to me. They worked it through well. Geary, he and Daniel continue to roll around together.
That's one thing the Doggies have been able to do here. They've been able to keep St Kilda down the skinny side of the ground. As you see, Keith there get his first touch with a nice contested mark. But St Kilda, what we've seen when they've played their best football, switching the ball, taking the game on, bringing it to the fat side of the ground, and then being able to hit their forwards up. Doggies have been able to defend them really well.
Keith just used his muscle, held King out. Williams.
Zach, 1 metre, please. Zach, play on.
Gets support from Bailey Williams, has the confidence to kick over the top. So now to Gardner. And through the middle they go. The kick, well, almost came unstuck. Hanbury through traffic. And then into the pocket onto the lead is Membry. Did he control it enough? Umpire says so. Don't think it hit the ground at any point. Just not sure whether he had it controlled as he skidded over the line. Membry looking at his second.
Don't block, let him run. Yep.
Keen to put the Saints back in front.
15 gone.
Support from the youngster behind. Buys himself a little room. Doesn't kick it as he would have liked. Falls near the goal square. Max King!
Out. Marcus out.
So Membry was looking for his second. Now King should kick his second.
Oh, we talked about him, about his ability in the air. Unbelievable as a key forward.
King has two, and the Saints have got the lead back. He's emerging before our eyes, Max King. He's been talked about for so long.
This is huge, Hammer, in a final, isn't it?
Oh.
Young gun, to see him come back from an ACL reconstruction. So much excitement about the player we all hope he's going to be, and to stand up in a final and start taking big clunks, contested marks. You can't underestimate how enormous that is for the Saints. And not a bad interchange when Rowan Marshall just steps up to the plate. This is concerning for the Bulldogs. We'll check in on this in a moment. St. Kilda, you can see grabbing at his ankle and his foot. Let's get down to Abbey Holmes. We've got a bit of an issue with St. Kilda. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we do. And as you can see there, he's grimacing in pain. The doctor and physio just having a look at that left ankle. It happened off the play, so we're just going to try and find that vision and come back to you soon with an update on him, but it doesn't look good.
Hey. No.
So the Saints looking for another. Max King, he's the target. 4 contested marks already. A PB. Marshall slapped it down. Keith under pressure. Geary thinks about flying. English doesn't think about it. He just does it. Geary, little handball. Seb Ross. The Saints keen for another. Just a minor score.
Getting
out to a 2-point lead.
And Dan Hannabury's having a big influence in the game, just getting on the outside and getting the ball forward, and the Saints are starting to look better all over the ground.
Ryan Gardner, just the required journey to Jack McRae. All of a sudden, a bit of momentum you feel with the Saints. McRae steps around Marshall, pokes it down the line. Ryder and English, Bailey Smith, winning the little 50-50s at the moment. Beautifully done by Hunter. Lipinski slapped it out, ends back with Lockie Hunter, floats it down the line. Wilkie and Wallace. Bruce came in and just a little grab around the shoulder, so free kick goes the way of the Saints, and Callum Wilkie's got it. He uses it pretty well by foot. Back to Caulfield, and there's Job, and Jimmy pointed out Dan Hannabury starting to really work his way into it. That time he bit off maybe a little bit more than was available. Now Norton, can the Dogs make them pay the other way?
A chance for McRae now. Feeds a handball through. Lipinski put under pressure. Tackle was good. Ball was spilt. Saints get control of it. Now Wilkie on that left of his. Finds a man with a little bit of space. Loney over the top. Membry. He's been a target. Seen a fair bit of the football. Rowan Marshall got into the right spot. Doubles back. Keeps it inside. Hill just knocks it forward. Smith, Kent, game of soccer. Hill inside with the handball. Ross got to take a couple of dogs on. Did well. Now Loney squeezes the kick. Hits the chest of Ryder. Fourth final for a third club. Still looking for his first finals win.
15 gone. 2 more metres, please, Dan. Yeah.
Takes his time. Tries to compose himself. Kicks it around the corner. It's coming back. It's straight through the middle. Three goals to 1 in this term. Loney got the first. Wallace replied. Then King put the Saints in front. Ryder extends the lead. Saints by 8. Paddy Ryder heads to the bench. Great article by Glenn McFarlane today, talking about how Brendan Lade, who spent so much time with at Port, sent a text message last year. We need a tap ruckman.
Well, it was a beautiful finish by Paddy Ryder, but Hodgie, you liked this from Bradley Hill, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. He started in the back pocket. I said he's running to support. That's why they got him there. Remember his long kick down to the contest with Marshall. Marshall keeps it in, but what do you know? You work hard, you get rewarded. He kicks it off the ground, and then he comes inside with a nice little handball. Not a lot of people notice that. And then the composure to hit up Ryder and him to go back and kick a nice little snap for a big man. But that's why they got him to the football club. He's work rate. He works all the way back to help out the defenders. And then as you saw then, he'll go hard as anyone up forward to try and help out his forward line.
8 points, the biggest lead either way in this game. Marshall, English did really well. Roved his own ruck work. Kick in the Bruce direction, fisted away from Wallace. Coming through Lipinski. Over the top of Josh Bruce. Well played Patton. Back to Hunter Clark. Steps through the tackle, did it nicely. And that kick's really risky. Membry, Norton, they're just hanging on here. The Saints, can they get through? Good tackle again. Hunter Clark steps through 3 and got boot to ball somehow. That was extraordinary, and they found a way out again, St Kilda.
Caulfield to Billings to Geary in front of Daniel. Have got some run. Jones continues to charge on towards half forward. Max King again. Looks deep, takes a little off the kick. Hill, does it fall his way? McRae just did enough. Loney, slick hands, now a chance for Steele. Steps inside, kicks it goal. Doesn't connect as he would have liked, and it floats out of bounds.
So they're prepared to run the gauntlet down the deep defensive 50, and it was an amazing little side kick from Hunter Clark just to get it to a St Kilda advantage, and they're able to take it up all the way up to the other end of the ground. But Saints fans' hearts in their mouth in that deep 50.
Easton Wood launched at it. Now Rourke Smith to Bailey Smith. Bontempelli went back and had enough skill, enough composure to get it. I love the run of Johannesson. A short one on the Crozier. So an important 48 seconds remaining. Gardner takes a bit of a run from half-back. It's a good kick to Ed Richards. Wallace wants it short, and that's where he goes. The leading goal kicker in 2020, Mitch Wallace, has an opportunity to do what he's done really well all year.
He has, and he's able to convert, but it's a strange first half of football. The ball's been in motion the whole time. St Kilda have only had 10 tackles for the first half, which is a number. You look at the scoreboard, you think they're getting absolutely smashed if you saw a team with only 10 tackles, but both been able to find a way to score goals.
24-12 coming into this final tonight. He already kicked one, which was a beautiful shot from the boundary. He started wide and stayed wide. So you would think that will be all the scoring for the first half.
Okay, the second half coming up from the Gabba. It is St Kilda by 7 points, win, and they're into a semi-final against Richmond. The loser goes home.
A perfect bounce. An English and Ryder again, a bit of a 0-0 draw. Ross in the Steele direction, just slipped over at a critical moment, and then English becomes desperate, tries to help the Dogs keep it in, which he does. So a 7-point game. 3 lead changes in the first half. 3 goals to 1 in that second term. The Dogs. Smith, Hunter, now Bontempelli. Thumping ball forward, front spot, right spot. Dougal Howard beats Bruce to the ball.
So what they're going to do is Caleb Daniel will be on the wing. Hunter or a wing type will start at half forward. As soon as the centre bounce, they come up, and it almost releases Caleb Daniel behind the footy, which we know how good he is.
The pack forms on the wing. Wood and Bontempelli in the front of that contest. So one half of football left for one of these sides. The season rolls on. A date with the Tigers next week.
Berturo doing what he does best, getting involved in everything. Here is the man that Jimmy Bartell just spoke about. I want to get the ball in his hands as often as possible. Good courage from Howard. Ground ball. He had the skill and the speed and the athleticism to go back and win it. Really impressive player, Dougal Howard. So much has been spoken about their recruits. Howard, Bradley Hill, Paddy Ryder this year, Zach Jones and Dan Butler. It's been a real transformation, hasn't it, Joe?
Certainly has, and they've all contributed at different parts, but they're standing up tonight as well, and all being really influential for St Kilda. And the Western Bulldogs, they just need their forwards to be able to create a contest in the air.
King again flew. Johannesson, little give behind to Williams. You speak about the Saints going and finding the players they want. 10 of the 22 that are playing today started somewhere else. English and Ryder again. Ryder, great article, as I said, just showing how to Rowan Marshall, who's just worked forward. Both have had such a season. Butler just let it drift towards the line. Got lucky in the end. Duray almost able to keep it in.
And with Daniel moving to the wing, guys, Geary's just moved across to Johannesson. So once they've moved one of their half-backers, he's moved straight across, and he's just happy to play behind him, just making sure he's aware of his positioning.
Right at a space, long towards the ball, got in trouble, out of trouble, somehow to Jones. Daniel, quick hands to Smith. He missed Bontempelli, steal clean, and then Bontempelli knew he was coming his way. Billings, sleight of hand to Ryder. Perhaps a little lucky, but Membry in the right spot at the right time.
Just some good contest work there by the St Kilda team. They were just able to fight and halve the contest, quick hands and Billing, and then Paddy Ryder slamming it on the boot, and Membry just being able to read it quicker as a forward. Easton Wood was fronting him, taking that more dangerous space, and just travelled over, and a good mark, and often the forwards will react just that little bit quicker.
Marshall just clever, keeping Gardner out of the play. So Membry has one, searching for a second. 7-point margin. Suddenly it's 13 and the Saints get the first of the second half. Last three of the match, King and Ryder got the last two of the second term. Membry opens the Saints account here in the third. There's a game-high lead. Wallace offline late in that second term. Membry, for the second time, does what the Saints fans hoped he'd do.
Great finish, and important to be the first team to kick a goal after half-time and play on that momentum. We talked about this St Kilda side. They are able to know when they've got momentum and being able to execute when they do, and then withstand it when they don't. And that's what they've been able to do so far. They've been able to really put the pedal to the metal when they've had the play, and they're so accurate in being able to convert when they get their opportunities, and Membry being able to slide one in there, and crucial goal, the first one of the second half.
A couple of goals to Tim Membry. He's found a fair bit of the footy, having a really impressive final. You see the height on that bounce, the centre wicket at the Gabba. It really launches into the air. Nice handball back to Seb Ross, and chance again, Membry, really dangerous at the moment. McRae under pressure. Bailey Williams showed some good composure to get it to Smith. Now Richards a one-on-one. Just worked pattern underneath the footy. Smith comes in, lands a bit of a hand. This kick's all important. English, who's kicked goals in the last couple of weeks. 2 goals in each game in the last couple of weeks. So he's dangerous forward. They get it to Lipinski. Can they get the quick reply here? It's going to bounce short. Dunkley stood up. He's a capable goal kicker. And Josh Dunkley gets the goal the Dogs wanted. So an important goal. They got a good one-on-one. And Josh Dunkley, who can play a variety of roles, also pretty capable overhead, was an important goal, Joe.
It wasn't, and you feel like they're just going to have to be able to create these avenues and being really flexible with their midfielders being able to go forward and kick their goals. Structurally, their key forwards aren't able to clunk it at the moment, Jimmy, and so they're going to have to find other ways to kick goals.
I think the important thing in the build-up to that goal is Tim English pushing forward. As soon as he saw that the Dogs turn the footy over at half-back, he got forward, and you've mentioned before that the Dogs haven't been able to clunk the footy forward of play. So if he can get involved, with marking the ball and put some pressure on Ryder and Marshall going the other way, and just not being, sort of beaten up at the centre bounces or throw-ins, and give them something else to think about.
So a swift reply from the Dogs after Membry got the first for the Saints, back to 7 points as it was at half-time. Marshall, English, a couple of young guns. McRae under pressure. Marshall quickly just hammers the ball towards half-forward. Butler did it brilliantly. Loney tries to get rid of the tackle. The tackle is from Crozier. Little slap down. Lipinski set up the last goal. He's under enormous pressure. Jimmy, what did you see at the centre bounce?
You just have to identify what the opposition's doing well. And we mentioned, the two St Kilda rucks are getting over the top, so they almost, tip their hat a little bit with the way they set up.
This time Alex Keith has nominated, made sure that was clear. Cost them a goal in the second quarter. Bontempelli over the top of Loney.
So when Paddy Wright is in the ruck, their willingness to hit forward to that front guy who's normally Steele. When it's Marshall in the ruck, he tends to just pull it a little bit back.
Dan Butler tracking the ball. Williams did pretty well the other way, and the little touch from Caleb Daniel worked it nicely to Lipinski. Marshall went back. Got to get through a couple of Bulldog tacklers here, and let's get down to Hodgie.
And I was just saying that, Danny, the standards really picked up with the intensity around the ball. The Doggies have squeezing extra numbers around the contest, and St Kilda following all the way up there. So St Kilda don't want the Doggies to get out with their clean hands that they're so used to doing throughout the season.
Billings to Hunter Clark, not as he would have liked.
So the Saints, Joe, because the Dogs have rolled that one around the back, they've got the extra number at the contest themselves, and they're playing it really close to the contest, so they're looking to hit back and feed back.
Here are the speed merchants. Dougal Howard topping the charts thanks to the team at Telstra. I think Paddy Ryder said, "I'm heading over, why don't you come?" And it's worked out so well for both. Hanbury shuffled it. And in the Saints through Clark. Well, Lipinski got his knee in the right spot. Bruce did well. Now it's Dunkley who just works towards English with a beautiful kick. Wallace gets on his butt. Wilkie goes with him. Deep ball perhaps an option. Wallace doubles back. Pleads for the football. Bontempelli not quite. Dougal Howard to Wilkie. And then the floating ball towards English. It's going to come back inside 50 for the Dogs. Hunter's deep. Rourke Smith. Patton goes with him. Heard the umpire. English just hits the 7-iron. Front spot long.
High contact.
Mark not awarded. High contact was.
You just see the difference in their forward entries. You pick up the play here.
Get back to Jobe in a minute. Crozier dumps a long ball down again. Bontempelli, look at Longitz, just launch himself at it. Hunter Clark got to work through. Did he dispose of that correctly? Play on's a call. McRae with a non-preferred. He's found Bailey Smith. He just came from nowhere, and Dan Hanbury got a bit of a stinger there. Let's hope that's all it is. But McRae was pretty clever in the end on the non-preferred.
It wasn't, and they've just been able to find scratch ways to get goals. The Bulldogs, the midfielders are the ones pushing forward, taking marks. Incredible contest there. Both players committing. Hanbury coming over, wearing the full brunt on that shoulder. But Bailey Smith did an excellent job to hold on to the ball.
He's a young star, this man, Bailey Smith, but that wasn't his finest moment. Horrible kick in the end. And we're back to one straight kick, 6 points.
So the Dogs still looking at consecutive goals in this match. They've all been pretty well spaced. Marshall, English, nothing really doing. Ball falls to ground and Bontempelli gets industrious. Clean as a whistle, takes on Hill, does the 360. Low ball inside, skipping ball for Wallace. Hanbury, who's just hurt in the last contest. Carlisle crashes out of the defensive 50. Into the centre square, Crozier and Geary fly. Geary wins the day. Quick kick forward for the Saints. Marshall looks to handball inside to Hill and then just thinks better of it. Low ball is now on. Beautiful to Jack Steele, now to Hill. That laconic kicking style. There's a few Saints about the space. King tries to control it, does okay in the end. Takes on Lipinski, puts it around the corner. A little bit too much on it.
Would have been a wonderful finish, but you just see Jared Geary here with an incredible contested mark, but the different styles because of the confidence of having a big key forward. The Saints are willing to push the button, get it in quickly because they know that Max King's lurking down there.
So exciting, Max King for Saints fans. The athleticism, the contested marking. The speed, he's the full package, that young man. He looms large. There's Norton with the helmet on. Hasn't been able to get access to the footy. Crozier surging it forward. Long, cleverly taking it over.
That Bailey-Smith-Hanbury collision at half-forward, Dangerfield and Burne-Jones-esque, and you sort of keep getting reminded about how tough this game is. Cordy now sitting it out.
Not even on the bench. He's first on the bus.
Again, Rourke Smith. This time, Dougal Howard has the win.
They've stood up well, these St Kilda key defenders.
Backs himself confidently. Works it towards the wing. Marshall gets in front of Bruce. Clean again, Steele, then just handballs inside. Has little help. Billings onto that left of his. King, not quite, has help. Kent, little slap in the end because he didn't take it cleanly. Sinclair over the top, might work out okay. Hanbury on that left of his, over the top, into the pocket. Loney might just play on. Sets it up, all on his lonesome. Jaron Geary.
And there's no surprise how Hanbury got that out in front of the football. His work rate today, a lot of people said because he missed so much football, he was going to be underdone. Can he live up to finals intensity? He's been outstanding with his work rate.
4 contested marks, career high. Never kicked the goal against the Dogs. He has, and he has in a final. You sense there's going to be small little moments that become huge.
Just even the awareness to centre the ball from that forward pocket and take a half chance into a full chance for Geary to go back, and that's smarts. And we know that St Kilda are a high possession conversion because of where they kick their goals from, and it's just evident again. Just here on the wing, a fantastic contest and a really smart little kick there, and Hanbury able to burst forward again and then roll quickly, and the Saints' ability to get the ball into their forward 50 quickly because of the structure that they've got in front of the ball, and then the smart, clever, unselfish play to make sure that we give it to a person with a better shot to convert.
Yeah, and Dre just had to take body there on Loney, or at least hold him up on the marks. Going to ground, it just turned what could have been a really tough chance into a certain chance because he was able to take his time and pick through the Dogs' back line there.
Playing his role, the skipper from the Saints, Jaron Geary. Really fine leader he's become. Ryder slapped it forward. Big chance, Zach Jones. Easton Wood with an awkward ball to defend. This is Gardner-Dre under real pressure, and that was a fortuitous one to Liberatore. Caleb Daniel, spearing kick, chopped off. Well played, Ben Long. Hunter Clark just put it over the top, and now the Dogs have turned it over. English, Lipinski, can he work his way through? So Bolden Pell into all sorts of trouble. Well tackled, Seb Ross.
Incorrect disposal.
Executed that without giving away a free kick. Did really well.
He did, and you're just seeing now that St Kilda are able to turn the ball over in better positions, and they're starting to tackle a bit more.
Saints suddenly under pressure. Dougal Howard, important, just knocked forward, ends up with Billings. To Loney, who set Geary up for the Saints' last goal. Kept his head, played on quickly. Neat ball to Geary, he finished. Marshall the target. Stuck between 3 Dogs, and Marshall wins the day. To a dangerous position. Ryder sets himself. English front spot. King at the back. Ryder.
Well, we talked about it all night, haven't we? Structurally, that St Kilda are very different to other teams. They like to go big, and you just see the confidence that the rest of the teammates have. We have Max King leaping. We've got Paddy Ryder. Marshall takes the mark in the wing, and they have that confidence to roll and move because they've got the targets that they've been so effective tonight. We know how dominant they've been in contested marks.
Margins 13. Ryder, he squeezes it through. A 19-point game. It's been a long journey for Paddy Ryder. Game 257. He's played in finals before. A couple with the Bombers. One at Port Adelaide. No wins yet. The last final He lost in overtime to the Eagles with a bit of Luke Shuey brilliance. Can he drag the Saints over the line?
And as we'll see, Marshall with the contested mark goes long into his fellow ruckman and Paddy Ryder, who's taken the club's 17th contested mark. They average 9 for a game per game this season, but we've always spoken about how the Dogs go in with one less ruckman compared to the opposition. But you've seen King take multiple, you've seen Marshall, you've seen Paddy Ryder. That's one area where they have dominated the game, and it's really starting to hurt the Western Bulldogs.
It allows them to play at the 2 different speeds. So if they want to go slow, they've always got the big fella down the line who's a good contested marker, all those names that we just highlighted. But if they go quick, and that's why the inclusion of Jones, Hill and Hanbury in recent years allows you to play these 2 different speeds.
Saints now with a commanding position. Next goal's massive in this. Zach Jones put his head over it, so too McRae. English well tackled by Steele. Still bobbling around the Saints. This is going to be a big win for them. Long shins it forward. Eastonwood came at it. Well played, Butler. Crozier. They won it back off the boot of Eastonwood. Can the Dogs get their own contested mark? Norton. Josh Bruce flicks it out in front of Bailey Smith. Awkward ball to pick up. Steps around, gets it back to Ed Richards. What a Saints back there. Lipinski, and over the top it was Rourke Smith. Jack Steele did really well. Got it to Caulfield, and again the Saints defence stand up.
I think he's played deliberate, isn't he?
Yeah.
Under unbelievable pressure in a final, just desperate to get the ball out of the defensive 50. He ran into trouble. Here's Caulfield.
You just haven't seen this from at the other end. You haven't seen the Western Bulldogs defenders being able to take intercept marks in their defensive 50. And these Saint back 5, back 6 have been really strong.
They've taken more contested marks than they've laid tackles, the Saints. They've been just supreme in the air. And here's Jones with that dash he's brought to the club. Long ball to half forward. Brilliant fish from Duray, but it fell to Loney. He knows he's got a friend on the wide side. Geary back. Butler's clever. Butler's really clever, but just a little too cute in the end. Just misjudged it. Everyone knew what he was trying to do.
Huge 4 minutes coming up until 3/4 time. Goal either way is huge right now. McRae's got it. Slips out wide. It's Taylor Duray. Are they bold enough to take this one on through the middle? This is the man that normally finds a target, Liberatore.
Hold there. Play on.
Just working their way through into the hands of Bontempelli, and they have linked up now to Lockie Hunter. Can they get a contested mark? Paddy Ryder. This has been an extraordinary display from the Saints big men, really dominating that part of the game.
Since that Wallace goal where he put the Dogs up by 5, it's been all Saints still somehow got rid of the ball. Ross, terrific to Patton. He takes them all on with a bounce. 3 Dogs chasing. Sinclair on the end of the handball. A long ball to Geary, who's been magnificent. Here's Butler. Gets away from Gardner. Butler this time doesn't miss. Straight through the middle. How many times have we seen Dan Butler do that in his career at full speed, run into an open goal? They went targeting a clever small forward. They saw Dan Butler wasn't getting games at Richmond. Made the call. He wanted more opportunity. And he's getting it as a Saint. He's put them in front. It's now a 26-point lead. The Dogs are on the ropes.
And we just see here, it starts from defence. There's the 19th contested mark that they've been able to take the St Kilda side, and then just getting the ball forward. And Dan Butler's been threatening to do this all night. He's been looked dangerous every time he's running back to goal and puts it through. And just the ability of the St Kilda defence to take an intercept mark, or just their big men to be able to dominate the air, has given them such dominance when the ball has been in general play.
The forward craft of Butler there, just with Gardner coming in, he just shoved him out of the way, got that break which he needed.
So the excitement of Saints fans in the Toyota fan zone, they are right up and about off their chair. Joe Hannison puts the afterburners on and might get down the field.
Thank you.
In some ways, that's actually a penalty, isn't it? Rather than a one-on-one contest. So it's worked out okay. The Saints will now take all the time they need to get numbers back. Lots of work to be done from here for the Bulldogs. They're going to have to take some risks. Crozier sends it out, looking for Eastonwood. There's Dan Butler. He'll be eyeing off a final against the Tigers next week. His old side. He won a premiership with Richmond in 2017, and they are in the box seat right now, the Saints. There's Bailey Williams.
I think the Saints will be happy with this slow possession. If they defend it well enough, it forces the Saints to kick long, and we've seen all day in those slow, long down the line ones, they've just owned those.
And Bradley Hill gets through. He was well tackled by Eastonwood.
Holding the ball.
Umpire has paid that.
When to defend. Hold there.
So Wood needs to go quick from this.
Hold there.
Lipinski sees English. He holds on to it, so he's going to be kicking from just outside 50. Will he look inside for a target? In no rush. So since that Wallace goal that put the Dogs up by 5, it's been 6 goals, 3 to 1, 2, 9 scoring shots to 3. A little look inside from Tim English. It starts to the right, it comes back a little bit. Minor score, 25 points. Tick under a minute and a half before three-quarter time. The Dogs with a mountain to climb.
Eagle Howard's been superb. All their big men have played their role, including that man Max King. Nearly snapped with another mark. Lockie Hunter drew a bit of high contact. They were low. That might be 50. It's going to be.
Out, Josh.
Sucked him in for 50.
Thanks, Jack. Let's go.
We spoke about little moments. Maybe this is one.
Yeah, the 50 was there, isn't it? The free kick was there, and then he was pushed to the ground, and crucial just before three-quarter time.
So this is exactly what the Dogs needed, just to stay in touch. Lockie Hunter directly in front. In the back of a 50-metre penalty, he just poked at it and hit the goal post. And speak about moments. That will really hurt.
They just kept an eye on Hunter Clark, who went over to Ben Long and just calmed him down and said, let's just not do anything silly here. Let's remain disciplined, just play the football that's got us here. Don't give them anything easy.
As we see there, guys, the Bulldogs have gone the old school, pretty much man on man. They've forgotten the zone. They need to tighten up on St Kilda and really shut them down.
Josh Bruce front spot.
Whole team, play on.
Got the first of the afternoon. Can they get one late? Just under a minute to play before three-quarter time. Sinclair knew he had help. Hunter Clark was there. And then Hill in front of Eastonwood. Overlap. Handball over the top. Chance now for Steele. Takes a bounce. Nothing really doing further afield, so took some time, waited for an option. Johannesson. I think Loney said, I got a hand on it. Umpire didn't see it.
I'm here. Hold there.
It was the Saints by 7 points at halftime. It's a 4-goal lead now as the Dogs mop up the last of the seconds. You see the disappointment on Lockie Hunter's face. He had an opportunity. It slipped through his hands, but there's time for the Dogs. 9-6-60. The Dogs down that man, Zane Cordy. 5-6-36. The final change for one of these two teams in 2020. Three-quarter time in the elimination final.
So the challenge ahead for the Bulldogs. They trail by 4 goals. The Saints looking for their first finals win in a decade. Here we go. Bruce did pretty well on that occasion. Exactly what Jimmy Bartell wanted. Get it to ground level, get in and fight hard for it. Ryder just said double-handed push, get out the way. And we'll reset again.
Enjoyed Paddy Ryder's game tonight so far. Darcy's aggression, he's able to hit the scoreboard, kick 2 goals himself, and they've obviously been able to dominate the air.
257th AFL game, Paddy Ryder, yet to win a final, so he's on the verge of something special for him. This is McRae, the prolific ball winner. Normally does something proactive with it. Once again, it's just this intercept marking and aerial dominance that has seen the Saints with a 4-goal lead.
They've been able to stop that linking handball away from those contested situations, which gets Hunter and McRae and Bontempelli in space to pick their way through the opposition's defence. They're forcing the quick kick a lot.
Williams, a little bit of a shuffle, hurried sort of a kick, and Caulfield just floated in all too easily on his lonesome. Wilkie happy to retreat into the hands of Dougal Howard. And through the middle they go. Hunter Clark. Cute little kick around the corner. Gets it back. And then an ugly sort of a ball. Here's a chance for the Dogs. Smith to Bontempelli. Lovely little sidestep around hill. Off hands. Still a chance for the Dogs. Dunkley. Can there be a dog at the fall of the ball? Again, it's Caulfield. Right spot, right time.
Just the ability to intercept mark. They're reading the ball better. They're forcing the Bulldogs kicking it high, and they're just dominating the air, this St Kilda team.
That's all defenders want, you know, the modern defence where you zone and you take the best position. You want air so you can get over, you can outnumber, at least then the third one can come in and help out.
Dars talked about 19 contested marks at three-quarter time. To put that into context, 21 is the most taken by a side this year.
Been a phenomenal display from the Saints big man. Jaron Geary's been a big part of that too. Here's Dean Kent, former team, picked it up really nicely. Get a one-on-one. That wasn't a well-directed ball. In fact, out of bounds on the full. So Alex Keith, they've got to play quick. The Dogs got to take a risk. Have to get it moving. Crozier, get it back. Hunter in the one-on-one. Bouncing footy. Ork Smith, first man in, gets it back to Lachie Hunter. Wanting to find his left foot. Mitch Wallace. Yeah, to try to spin out of it. Didn't quite get the ball, but he's gone back and won himself a free kick, Mitch Wallace.
Stand up, please.
He'll be just outside his range, I would have thought.
Come on.
Just slipped up over the shoulder there, didn't it? Caught him high.
So there's a short one that he likes to Taylor Duray, who is a really long, penetrating, powerful kick, but not that far.
Right there, thank you.
Bailey Williams just trying to work their ways through it. Norton gives a lead. It's been a tough night for Aaron Norton. And they want him down there flying high for it. English and Bruce. Well, that's front and centre. Can they manufacture something here, the Dogs? Back to Jack McRae. Just pops it up to the dangerous zone. Carlisle, and they've done it again, the Saints.
Completely controlled the air. 20th contested mark.
And Dars called it perfectly, trying to manufacture something. That's how it's felt all night going forward. And Hodgie, you got something for us?
Yeah, as you said, when you want going inside forward 50 is movement. You want someone to be hitting up at your move and put blocks on. You look forward, the Bulldogs players are doing nothing. They're standing just waiting for someone else to do something.
So the Saints going well. The Dogs charging forward, and again, the Saints have got the answers. This time Ben Long. Short little ball on Sinclair. Still plenty of time for the Dogs. 24 points the margin. They've kicked 5. They need 4 just to break square. Smith in trouble, out of trouble, into trouble again. Eastonwood has Jones to deal with. Hill almost scooped and went, couldn't quite. Back towards English. He left it behind. Clark knows he's got a couple towards the boundary line, couldn't release the footy.
Just the outnumber from St Kilda at ground level. They had more numbers on the screen and they had more coming into the next contest. They've been able to outwork this Western Bulldogs side.
It's been an outstanding performance from the Saints. What have the Dogs got left? Liberatore hacks it towards Richards. Desperate. Wilkie. Tackle was great from Rourke Smith. Ball still underneath. Wallace was desperate. Got it to Lipinski. Steele tries to break through. Held up by Bruce and McRae.
As we saw last night, guys, Brisbane were able to take the game in the first 10 minutes of the last quarter, just slow it down, run the clock down with these shorter quarters. St Kilda happy to do the same thing. Kick mark in the back half, and if they get a chance to go fast, they will, but there'll be secondary stoppages as much as they can.
Bit of brilliance from Paddy Ryder to get this ball moving forward. He's had a big final. Billings. The Dogs now closing in on Rowan Marshall. Duray. Underground handball from Caleb Daniel. Alex Keith. Back to Gardner. English the man down the line. Norton, that's what they've been waiting for.
Norton.
Just haven't seen enough. Aaron Norton's going to get rolling to Johannesen. No chance for Bruce, but once again, Nick Caulfield's turned into a very good player, that man, Jimmy Bartell.
Yeah, he's become an important player because they try to find the footy, try and get the footy to him, because he's such a penetrating kick, and that's his 4th intercept for the quarter. And just further to Joe's point about the outnumber, the Dogs rely on a lot of possessions, and Saints have had more than them, but they haven't had that handball game where they have, on average, 30 more than the Saints. They just haven't had that link-up, outnumber play today.
For Saints fans, 11 minutes from a place they haven't been for a long time. For the Dogs, 11 minutes to claw themselves back into this match. 23 points, 10.5 minutes to play.
Skipper trying to inspire them. They might get a chance here. Liberatore has found a way to get it to McRae on his preferred left foot. He sprayed it right across and out of bounds on the full.
Just every time they've tried to kick or score, everything's been hard work, hasn't it? There's just been nothing fluent about their ball movement or their entries.
So here is Dougal Howard again. Manages to craft that little ball to the first-time All-Australian, Jack Steele.
What a season he's had. Grew up in rugby league country. Got shown the game and has flourished. Lipinski, Daniel, Williams, Dogs, got to get the necks. Can they work through this Saints defence? They've been under pressure since the first bounce of the afternoon. Johannesen sends it towards Rourke Smith. Through a couple of hands, and Steele couldn't clunk it. Caulfield happy to see it over.
And even then, it's just another example of the pressure that St Kilda are putting further up the ground, which means it's a high, slow entry, and they're going to be outnumbered in their forward line, the Bulldogs.
Contested possessions inside 50, both being dominated. How do the Dogs find a goal, though? Hannebrink, tackle immediate. Liberatore screams for the football. Umpire will throw it in. Clock continues to tick.
Who's going up? Western Bulldogs, Tim. Thank you.
The face of concentration, English. Knocks it down in the Ross direction. Marshall had it ricochet towards Bontempelli off his leg. Caleb Daniel, little hurdle, over to English. English through traffic. Back he goes with the handball. Daniel on his left. Who can take a big mark for the Dogs? Number of Saints fist. And it falls to Long, who backs himself with speed. Takes a bounce, might contemplate a second. Releases the football. Johannesen got a hand onto it. Big ball to win here. Geary, boot to ball. Here come the Dogs.
Taylor Duray finds Hunter. This has been the challenge. A big mark. Can Josh Bruce set himself in? Norton, good grab. It's been tough going. But can he ignite something here? This young gun.
Still a massive chance here, the Dogs, and they just need some things to go their way. Just play a little bit quicker, a bit of down risk. But again, this was individual brilliance from Norton. It was almost the front of the pack who had to come back and do a big hook mark into it, and a fantastic pluck against the numbers coming from all angles. Needs to convert.
50 contested marks last year, Jimmy, as a teenager. Had a career-high 6 goals in round 12. They just have to get this goal, and Norton keeps the Western Bulldogs alive. So back to 17 points within 3 goals. They have been desperate for that sort of mark, Job, and Aaron Norton delivered it.
They have, and in this last quarter, they've dominated the contested ball and they've dominated time in forward half. So just a weight of the ability to be able to get repeat entries, and finally one of their forwards is able to take a mark, whereas St Kilda have dominated the air, but Norton plunks one and converts, gives them a sniff.
See here, Norton, he was at the front of the contest and realised that it was he who had to go back and fly, and it was a big hook mark, as they say, where you come out and almost make a J shape or reverse J from where he is, and fantastic mark with all the pressure coming from all angles, and a great finish. And the Dogs, yeah, they've had repeat inside 50s. They're starting to win the contested football. As we see there, they've had the last 5, sorry, 6. Didn't count that correctly, did I?
Well, since the Butler goal, 10 inside 50s to one the Dogs' way for 1-3 to no score. So they're getting it where they want it. They're just not finishing off their good work. English, clever to Dunkley. Here come the Dogs again. Daniel Patton bounces towards Carlisle. Daniel, little gift to Richards. He's pretty clever, Richards. He's offline. 16-point game, 8 minutes on the clock. 8 minutes left for one of these two sides. A date with Richmond for the winner.
All of a sudden, a bit to think about for the Saints. It's been such a long time between finals wins, and huge opportunity right here, falling over Max King. Out the back, Alex Keith leads in the race. And Dean Kent happy to find the boundary line.
We saw last night Richmond really challenging Brisbane in that last quarter, and the Bulldogs are going to keep coming. St Kilda have to steady themselves, understand that the momentum's against them, but keep fighting, keep working in the contest, and just being able to grind it out.
So Ryder in front. Look how well he did that to Hanbury, to Butler. Silver service, and now a chance. Membry just out in front. He got a good bounce. He's got Geary in the goal square. This might be it. Jaron Geary, the skipper's got it. He's got 2. And look at the Saints fans. They are out of their chair. Couple of goals to Jaron Geary. And back out to a 22-point ball game.
It was just a brilliant piece of play for St Kilda, and they're able to get out behind, get the deep entry, and their memory really smart, didn't panic, gave it to Geary, converted the easy goal.
Well, the Dogs taking a few chances and getting up high, and Geary was able to sneak out the back, and Easton Wood there, he had to commit and go over to Membry, and just Gardner just got lost in that matchup because Gardner had the Membry matchup. He lost him out the back. Easton Wood, being the spare, has to go over and commit, and you create that overlap or spare in front of the footy.
What about Paddy Ryder's tap, as Das called it, just beautiful silver service there, late in the game, and put it in the bread basket, and the chain of handballs out of the stoppage gave the deep forward 50 entry.
So Jaron Geary, for the 3rd time in his career, kicked multiple goals, 4 contested marks, never done that in his career. Nice time to produce a gem. Bruce towards half forward. The pack forms a chance for Lipinski. Richards is spare. Can't quite take it cleanly under enormous pressure. He's been called for holding the ball.
Patrick, you're on the mark.
Saints again, desperate, and stop the Dogs in their tracks. 7 to play.
Bradley Hill unloads a long bomb. Crozier in front. Ryder, what a game he's had, Paddy Ryder. Wound the clock back and searching for his first finals win. He's been outstanding. Liberatore. McRae. Run from Bailey Smith. Linking up again with Crozier. Norton's the one who's got to fly. Beautiful hands. Remember, this man fractured cheekbone last week, had surgery. Great courage to be out there, and that centering kick to Hunter, who can't waste any time. Got to go back and try and kick his first goal. This one just before 3/4 time, directly in front. He'll have that in the back of his mind, Lachie Hunter. Good looking kick, and so the Dogs won't go away. Disposal number 20, that was Lachie Hunter's first goal of the final. And they work hard, and stranger things have happened with 6 minutes to go. You just get a little nervous still. If you're a Saints fan, it's very much within the realms of possibility. They are a dangerous team.
Well, Norton, a fantastic grab, but the build-up play to that, Bailey Smith, the first time we've really seen the Dogs get that forward linking handball, which breaks a line and gives the forwards a chance one-on-one a little bit deeper. And Norton, a great grab, got off the mark, and what that does is then Hunter and these sort of guys can keep tracking up through the middle with their work rate and find some space.
So the Dogs have got to kick consecutive goals for the first time in the match.
And that man on screen there, the CEO, very passionate Saints fan, your big brother at home. He'll be on the edge of his seat.
Yeah, he will be nervous. 6 minutes and 10 seconds. If you're a Saints fan right now, it seems like an eternity. Riders' dominance continues. Chance for Membry. He can mop up some time. Can he find a little target within scoring range? Ross wants it. He's ignored. He's been called to play on. Umpire knows it's too big an ask. Top of the square. Pack gets together. Ryder out the back. Here's a chance to maybe seal it for the Saints. Billings, I thought was going to get a little left foot look at it and run out of space. The Dogs, they're still alive.
Run a long way there, Bailey Williams. This just has to go straight up the middle. They're going to try and work their way around the outside. Easton Wood got it back to Bailey Williams, who ran on nicely. Bailey Smith's had a big afternoon. Disposal number 22. Where's Norton? This is Dunkley. Second, third attempt. He's taken the mark, Josh Dunkley. So another goal here. And it's getting very interesting. Torre, you can see flashing through short. Josh Bruce with the leader. Dunkley on a premiership in his first year, 2016, leans back. It just faded late. It was a pretty good strike. And the Saints fans breathe a sigh of relief.
And that's the kind of ball movement the Bulldogs need to do. It's got to be almost chaos ball movement. Go one side, switch the ball, give a quick handball, get blokes running off the half-back line. It's the only way they're going to continue to put the St Kilda defence in trouble.
Howard towards the man who's been superb. Ryder just over his head. Easton Wood feeds it back to Duray. Now to Crozier. The Dogs again with a chance. Who can take it in the air? Bruce had it, lost it. Still a chance. Lipinski tries to slap it towards Dunkley. It gets held up. 4:33 on the clock. 3 goals to be found. If you're a Dogs fan, one will do it if you're a Saint. Marshall, Bontempelli knew where it was going to be. Caleb Daniel. And they do. Wallace feeds it up to Liberatore. Quick snap over the shoulder. Liberatore! Dogs are still barking! The Dogs are still barking!
Unbelievable by this Western Bulldogs team. Just being able to fight the repeat entries in this last quarter. We saw how dominant they were in terms of their inside 50s for the game. And Liberatore, another one of those great inside players who just finds a way to get his hands on the ball with a quick snap. 10 points to go.
And that's just the Doggies, the way they go. They don't give up. You get Libba in there, he'll keep fighting until the final siren. And that's what you need in these tight times. If you get a chance to kick a goal, these opportunistic goals, you've got to have enough composure and enough goal sense to understand where they are. And Libba, he's got that. But they've got serious now. They've got McRae in the middle, they've got Bont in the middle, they've got Libba, they've got English. They're on their last legs, the Bulldogs, fellas. The last 5 minutes, they're starting to build a little bit of momentum. 10 points to go, 4 minutes. They're well back into this game.
Have a look at Brett Ratten. Huge centre bounce coming up. Inside 50s this quarter, 12-3, the Dogs' way. Paddy Ryder's been dominant. This is going to be a massive clearance either way. The bounce is perfect. Look at Ryder. He stood up again, the big man, and got it down. Kent came crashing through. Dogs have got to reload from half back here. Bailey Smith, young star of the competition. Down the line, they need Norton, they need Bruce. Got a good contest. He's long. Steps his way back inboard and well played. They pushed the little man Caleb Daniel forward.
Yeah, and hasn't Bailey Smith, we just have a look at this contest by both players, incredible courage to go back with the flight of the ball, but Bailey Smith's ability to run on the outside and carry the lines has been crucial to this Bulldogs side in this last quarter.
The big lead was 26 points. It's now just 10. Who's going to blink? A chance. Ross, desperate. Little give terrific to Wilkie. Out of bounds on the full. Dogs can reload. Can they find a target?
Thanks, Dan.
They hadn't kicked back-to-back goals until the last goal from Liberatore. Now they're looking for 3 in a row. English has it knocked away. Hill didn't take it cleanly. Comes off Johannesson's face. Back to Daniel. Johannesson. Wallace.
Pushing the back.
Wallace gets a look at a goal to make it a 4-point margin. Thrown forward and has loved his new role. Has a goal. Dogs need him to find a second. Mitch Wallace drags the ball across the face. 2 goals needed. Everything suddenly so desperate.
You got to feel for the Saints supporters here. We've got a number of them in front of us who are up and about 10 minutes ago. They're starting to get really nervous down here.
There's a couple here as well, Hodgie.
Back to 9 points. Off the side of the boot, Tim English in the box seat. He takes the mark. Thought about going on. He looks up. They stream back in defence, the Saints. Can they get contested mark? He's going to dump into the dangerous spot. Josh Bruce against his old side. Fisted away Dougal Howard's been enormous. Caleb Daniel taken high. Taken high. And Caleb Daniel can get the Western Bulldogs back to within 3 points. Arguably the best kick in the competition. Mostly off half back. And the smallest man in the game, Caleb Daniel, his most important kick of his career. What can he do? The little man in the helmet. He makes no mistake. It's a 3-point ball game. What about this? This is out of control. They were dead and buried. And all of a sudden, 2 minutes, 3-point ball game. Extraordinary.
Unbelievable, the Bulldogs' ability just to fight and scratch and get manufacture goals. It hasn't been that fluid. It's just been time of possession, inside 50s, repeat inside 50s, and then they've been really accurate as well.
The best kick in the comp, best field kick, makes no mistake here. And as soon as he received the footy in that contested situation, he just turned the corner and made sure the Saints players had to try and tackle him correctly. And where the umpire was, he just saw the arm come over the shoulder and had to pay it. But what they've been able to do is just capitalise on mistakes, Hodgie.
Yeah, they've thrown Memory. We've got Jared Ruffhead on the boundary yelling out to Memory. He's going to swing from the wing around and make an extra 7th, and then they'll have someone as a half forward who's probably a Bradley Hill who's starting half forward, who's going to replace him on the wing. So they're going to try and save the game, run down the last 2 minutes.
2 club seasons on a knife's edge. 4-4 to 1-1 this term. 3 in a row to the Dogs. 26-point margin. It's been whittled down to 3 points. Who holds their nerve? Who handles the moment the best?
Pinned in. No, let him up, please. Paddy, Tim.
Yeah, Memory's now running back, and they've got Crozier following him down there, trying to equalise in front of the ball.
Liberatore, partially smothered kick. Clean pick up by Sinclair. Hacks it towards half forward. Marshall, Keith, Williams, Gardner. Little handball. Jones desperate at ground level. 98 seconds left for one of these clubs.
And the Bulldogs want the ball in motion. St Kilda wanted to bottle it up and keep it close to the boundary line.
Can the Saints find their second in the last term? Can the Dogs take the lead after looking like they were gone? Bontempelli crashes through. Williams gets around the captain, then works the ball down the line. Who's at home for the Saints? Tim Membry.
And Hodgie called it. That was the move that came from his old teammate, Jared Ruffhead. Let's get to Abby Holmes.
Guys, a good mark by memory, but Paddy Ryder has just limped to the bench. It's a crutch time in this game. They need him out on the ground, and he is on the interchange.
And that's probably where he would have been, Abby, as that mark was taken. Bontempelli's going to take this one through the corridor. Big contest. Dunkley fisted away by Hunter Clark. Caleb Daniel sweeps the handle out wide. Taylor Duray, he's got a target down the line. Crozier was brave, and Josh Bruce
St.Kilda
gave away a free kick. That could be unbelievably costly against his old side. And now the Saints have just got 40 seconds to hang on. They'll scramble to man up. As Nick Caulfield will get this as far and wide as he can.
Marshall, the strong hands, he holds up. The clock continues to tick. Coaches out of calls. The game in the lap of the gods, in the hands of the players.
Pushing it back, Bulldogs.
One last roll of the dice. Give it back quickly, they say. He does.
Go down.
The clock's going to beat the Dogs. The Saints are going to hang on. Their smallest win in a final since the 1966 Grand Final. Game of football. Winners in tears, losers in tears.
Stoke Paddy Ryder's all right. He was taken off the ground in that last moment. He just won his first final. He was enormous, Paddy Ryder. Find out, make sure that he's okay. Just sharing a word with Tim English.
Yeah, the tears tell a story, don't they? His first finals win, but you wonder whether or not he'll be taking part again next week against the Tigers. So more football. Vic and South Australian viewers, stand by for 7 News, or for more footy, over to 7 Mate. Abby Holmes, Paddy Ryder's in tears. He's on the right side of the ledger in terms of wins and losses. We'll get to you on Paddy in just a moment, but you're Dan Hanbury.
I am, Dan. It's been a long time since a finals berth for this footy club, let alone a finals win. How proud are you of your boys to hold on late in that final term?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Some of the blokes that stood up, Nick Caulfield, arguably broken best on. He was unbelievable with the amount of intercept marks. Geary to kick the goals on Daniel and Johannesson, who were there. Best play. Some of the team efforts was outstanding. They were always going to come at some point, and they did. And we hung on, and it was just an unbelievable win.
Well, we've got Paddy Ryder over there just being consoled by the boys. He's in tears on the bench. He did come off the interchange. I'm not sure if you're aware, with about a minute to go. Does that break your heart? Do you think that it's something serious there? Or?
Look, I'm not too sure. I saw him crying there. I know he's pretty... He had an unbelievable game. He's pretty animated in that last quarter directing the goal, so I'm not sure. Fingers crossed it's nothing major, but he was unbelievable.
And Rat spoke pre-game about the hub being good for you guys. He thinks it's been great to, I guess, build that bond and become an even more cohesive group. Do you feel that as a playing group?
Yeah, we took a lot of steps in the pre-season to become a connected group. There's a lot of young guys and new recruits, and myself included, that came to the club, and we've developed a really close bond. And certainly this hub experience, even though I missed a big chunk of it, we've become a lot closer and connected, and I think it's been really good for us.
And just very quickly, as we said, a long time, 9 years since the finals birth. I'm sure you've got a message for all of your Saints fans around the country.
Oh, I mean, they're unbelievable. I mean, even tonight, I mean, the amount of people that were here tonight cheering, they were super loud and unbelievable supporters, and we just hope they can keep getting around us next weekend, and just really happy to be able to, get a finals win for the boys, for the club, for everyone. It's an unbelievable feeling. Makes all the hard work worth it.
Well done, Dan. Congratulations and best of luck against the Tigers.
Cheers, thanks.
It is a brutal game, Job and Jimmy. I mean, you speak about how 2 minutes ago it was an opportunity for the Dogs to kick a goal and send them into a semi-final. Suddenly their season hits a brick wall. Down to you, Hodgie.
Yeah, I've got the Saints skipper. I've got one fatigued but very happy skipper, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, we ended up doing it the hard way, but yeah, fantastic. Just so happy for the boys, our footy club, and all our fans. It's been a long time, and we wanted to come here and get the job done, and we did, which is really pleasing.
What was going through your head in the last quarter? We had a fair lead, and they just kept pegging away at you.
Yeah, I think I always knew they were going to come back, or it was going to be we're going to have to grind it out to the end. So, we just hang on by the skin of our teeth, and probably a good opportunity to learn some things from that, because finals footy, it's going to be tight, it's going to be a grind. So probably the last 10 minutes we'll have to review, I reckon.
Do you know how important this is for the supporters? There was about 15 supporters in front of us going absolutely ballistic.
Oh yeah, our fans have stuck through it with us for a long time, and there's a lot here today, a lot back in Melbourne that would love to be here. So, we're really thankful for the fact they've stuck with us for so long, and hopefully we continue to put a smile on their face throughout the next few weeks.
And personally, you changed the role. You played as a defensive forward and did a really good job.
Yeah, I know it's a different role for me. I enjoy the challenge. A couple of good players down there in Daniel and Johannesson, and hopefully I played my role and was able to contribute to the win.
No doubt you did, mate. Congratulations. Go and enjoy with the boys.
Thanks, mate.
Spare a thought for St Kilda fans who are sitting at home here in Victoria watching that. Just an extraordinary game of footy. If we're going to have a final series like the 3 we've had so far, we're in for something pretty special. Jonathan Brown, you and I sat there, impartial, but our man here next to us, cool as a cucumber, nothing in doubt. 26 points, the margin. He had the pipe out, he was just having a little puff, and then all of a sudden the Western Bulldogs came and the demeanour changed a little bit. But well done to you, young man, and well done to the Saints. It was a fantastic performance. It was, another couple of minutes, I don't think you would have got there.
One down, Gaz. One down, 3 to go.
You want us to run the vision?
Never in doubt.
You want us to run the vision?
What vision?
He had the song lyrics out at three-quarter time for us all to sing. Hey, with the mighty Saints.
The narrative at three-quarter time was that this was such a one-sided win, and we're working out how to tell the story. And then, to their credit, the Western Bulldogs gathered themselves. They kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. They got it to 3 points. 26 points was the margin. Let's go to the ground. Let's find out. This is emotional scenes here. We saw the coach, we saw the CEO and the president, Eddie Maguire. Gee, the salary cap's gone out for us from a boundary rider point of view with Alistair Lynch. What's it like, boys?
Oh, how about this, Gary? This is finals fever, no doubt about it. It's 3,668 days since St Kilda beat the Bulldogs in the preliminary final of 2010 to go to the grand final. That was their last finals victory. And have a listen to this. The Saints fans, they might be small in number, but they're big in spirit at the Gabba tonight. This is magnificent scenes here at the Gabba as the Saints go off the ground. There's Andrew Bassett, the president, on the right-hand side in the blue shirt. We saw Matt Finnis before, and there's the desolation of the rooms in the Western Bulldogs. But Alistair Lynch, the Saints there, you could just hear the deep breath. They were screaming all around us, and then their heads went in their hands for about 5 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Their first win since 2010, and the ups and downs, the emotions of the different clubs, and also of Paddy Ryder, who was so good today, and all of their recruits. Their Foreign Legion really stood up today.
Yeah, so Paddy Ryder looks like he has an injury. Of course, we'll get all that as soon as we can. Let's go to the Dakota rooms for the song.
They go marching in and they go marching on. The Saints live to fight another